Welcome back to the show. In the studio with me are Craig Kahl, Rachel Payne, and Scott Hughes from Venture Web Interactive. We're talking about, right now, we've been talking about advertising trends in the websites and video. If you have any questions or comments, give us a call, 410-481-1300. So we were talking about the video predominantly. But what we were talking, so it's, I guess, a lot of this now with the video and with what's going on with Google. Talk a little bit about the retargeting and the remarketing aspect of what's happening on the web. Rachel, what did you take on?
So what happens when people are online and they go into specific websites and they're searching around, what happens is a cookie will drop into your computer and then ads will follow you around based on what you've searched. So a lot of times you'll see, let's say you search for a product on Amazon, and then you'll see that specific product following you around, encouraging you to buy the product. Well, we also do that at Adventure Web for our clients. And what it really is, it's low-hanging fruit for the client because it's someone that's already shown interest in your business because they've been to your website. And once they go to your website, then we'll follow them around with a strong offer, encouraging them to do business with you.
So, but what if they went to Amazon to look at a widget?
Uh-huh.
That website might follow them around. But if you go to look at widgets, will you be able to target? If I sell widgets as well, can you help me retarget by putting my website and the widgets I sell when someone goes onto their computer, their internet? So if they're doing a search, the advertisement might come up for my widget as well as in place of Amazon.
So yeah, that's called a display campaign.
Okay.
So retargeting is when they've actually been to your site and then you're following them around. It's the same network, but it's just targeting the people in a different way. So what we would do with that is we would actually, Google has categories of people, so we would target you based on your interest.
Okay.
So, which again, we can target by the demographics as well, but it's also by your specific interests, we can target you.
Okay. So how does this, I'm going to ask a question about how does this then affect the SEO, search engine? Is it become, if you as a seller of a product, those widgets again, you're getting if anybody's looking for a widget or has looked for a widget, gets your ad when they go back on the internet, how does that affect the use of the SEO? Does SEO become less important or more important?
I mean, you're constantly competing on the internet with everybody else who's out there. So if you're paying for an advertisement, likely you're going to be at the top of your search result page. And generally, that's what you're focusing on with search engine optimization is you are putting all kinds of keywords, putting content.
So for those out there, can you define keywords? We hear it all the time when we talk about websites, and I'm not so sure we've actually, for people out there on the listening on, define it.
Right. I mean, a keyword is exactly what it sounds like. You want to bring people to your website. And what's the subject matter that you're focusing on? I kind of reverse engineer it a little bit, and I think, what would people search for to bring them to my website? What would I search for? So it could be anything. If you sell a widget name would probably be, what it is you would target around. But then we're kind of seeing more trends these days, optimize, around like voice search and stuff like that. Or to bring people in. For instance, we were talking about this like with a plumber. If you have a plumbing website, we can put a video up, we can talk about plumbing, and so we do things such as geo-targeting pages. We'll say, okay, plumbers in Baltimore, right? Likely somebody's going to search for plumbers in Baltimore, or you might find somebody who's looking how to fix a leaky faucet, and this might go back to your pay-per-click campaign. If you are a plumber in Baltimore, you might pay for a campaign that's going to target people within that region and those specific keywords.
Well, I think Scott brings a great point. At 22 years ago, keyword was plumber, and it's not anymore. I mean, it still is to an extent. keywords are now, how do I find the best plumber? How do I find the best sewer replacement plumber? How do I find the best garbage disposal plumber? So keywords are no longer limited to just a small phrase. Google's gotten intelligent. It knows what you're looking for.
They're using artificial intelligence
Right.
to know what you're looking for.
Right. Yeah.
So keywords are no longer just something small. Plumbers in Baltimore, best plumbers in Baltimore, Better Business Bureau A+ rated plumbers in Baltimore. That is a great phrase to target. And as Scott mentioned, geo-targeting pages. So when we create content, it's so critical to be creating content all the time. So when we're creating content, we'll create content around, this plumber just won these awards. It's, so Google says, oh, wow, this plumber's getting a lot of awards. We're publishing the content on that. We're publishing articles on specifically, okay, this new technique in sewer replacement is better than the old school sewer replacement technique. So we're creating content for that. So Google sees that content being pushed and sees that as a signal that this website, this plumber happens to be an expert because it's constantly putting out content. We're targeting the long tail key phrases with that content, hence sewing in tremendous amount of more organic placements inside Google with no pay-per-click fees.
Yeah, so one of the things that's bothered me as a consumer and someone who uses the internet and search engines is that today when you go look for something, the first page is almost all advertising.
As a Google partner, they want us to sell those ads.
I understand because they make their money by selling the ad.
And it's really interesting.
So
some of the statistics now that come out. We actually had a client in today, and he goes, I really want to get to page 2 or 3. And I'm like, no, we want to get you to page 1. And he goes, well, most people don't even pay attention to page 1 anymore because it's all ads.
And the question is that true? Are they not really?
I think it would be interesting. There's 2 great research groups out there. There's one's called the Search Engine Land, the other one's called Search Engine Watch. And the statistics that they compile all the time are just amazing. I would like to see some statistics based on, 10 years ago, everybody would only go on the first page of Google. Now are they going deeper because they want to try to actually get the better results because you're right of all the ads. Right. So I think Google's having a very battle amongst itself. They still their mission.
Because the ads used to be down the side.
Right, they got rid of that. So their mission statement is best user experience. They want a very well built website. Speed is super critical these days. So they want a well built website that's easy to navigate, that's very fast, user experience, and then most authoritative resource. So their mission statement still says we do want to serve up organic listings for people to choose. But then again, they do want to make billions as well.
Yeah.
One of the main things that Google's doing, and it's actually a big deal this year, especially, is they do 500 to 600 updates to their algorithm every year. You can't keep up with it, and that's kind of where we come in. Is we stay on top of it and we're knowledgeable about it. But there's a function, an algorithm going into the term artificial intelligence and machine learning. Google's leading the way with this, and they have a platform called Rank Brain, I believe it's what it's called, and that is kind of changing the algorithm based on your content, based on engagement with your website across social media. If people are converting, whether they're filling out an email contact form or buying something from your website, it changes your rank as it's provided in your search engine result page. So they're constantly evolving, and this particular algorithm is constantly changing, and it's looking for, when we use the term search intent, what are people actually thinking about? There's so many terms and phrases that people search for that Google actually has never seen before. And it's trying to provide the best experience. Now, ads at the top of the page, you never know. If it's giving it to you correctly, it might be doing you a favor. But otherwise, you might just have to sort through it.
I find it for me, the changes they made most recently, like that, the change with, I find, and the way they're using the information and the knowledge base. For example, I put in, and I'm trying to research a company that I want to try to meet with, so I have some knowledge, and I put the name of the company on the, in the search engine, the search bar, and the first page is advertising for competitors.
Right, they do that on purpose. And the next page is all the articles that might be written about them. Mm-hmm. And I might be the 3rd or 4th page before I actually get to their own the company itself.
One of the things that, some quick tips to the
and I'm, instead of answering that, I'm going to end this segment because we have to go to commercial break.
Okay.
So, and when we come back from the break, I'm going to continue the conversation with Greg Kahl, Rachel Payne, Scott Hughes from VetraWeb Interactive. I'm Allan Hirsh, and this is AHA Business Radio on CBS Sports Radio, 1300 AM.